Okay, shall we start? So today is one of the interesting topic that actually touches like the most vague or let's say opinionated theme in IT industries like planning. Why I'm saying that? Because lots of things is already written, different methodologies introduced, and people actually still trying to invent their own wheel. I'll be the next one who will do this. I try to be more practical on that, and that's why I think it can be used because like based on my experience and actually implemented several times in different places. Yep, 1 second, and interesting. I don't have. Okay, if you don't know me, my name is Andrei. I've been here for 17 years already. Actually, a bit more. And I play different roles. And one of the biggest role, I would say I play all this time is engineering manager. Most interesting role because it connects engineering most and people, so things and people together, and also as solution architect. So I see similarities between how computer programs interact with each other and people, because there is some like common things in this. Today's agenda will try to dive into the topic. That's why we need this introduction. That I'll walk through some cases that this particular topic will try to touch or solve or bring like some problematic or what we gonna talk today, and then will be roadmap file as the main part. Till the end, there will be some kind of parts of this methodology and advanced techniques in this sixth chapter. Then I will bring, let's say, my vision on cases that I brought in the second part. So let's meet. So you know about me, who I am, and I would like to know who you are and what brought you here. So who is the manager here? Who led the team? What? Yep. Okay, great. Who actually participate in some estimation processes? Okay, right. So nice. Who actually faced not one time faced failure of your project because of that? Yeah. That's fine. I also did. Okay, I need to raise my hand as well. So this is also for you and who actually have some like involvement into this process. You also know that's not trivial. Nothing goes so wrong as our plans. And introduction. So this is definition from internet. I highlighted some words in my slides because I think it's most important one. And the plan is always about some objectives. Of course, we need to reach them. And most of the people think that we should have a course of actions. That's why it, since it's like, even it's true, it come to conflict with other methodologies in IT industry that actually don't like objectives and courses that are set. But still, it exists, and so many people works with that and actually brings value, results. And there are people who disagree with this approach because obviously it does have some weak parts. That's what we need to think through because, of course, we all know what Agile is. And Agile is something that brings us lots of things that are described here. Of course, you know, person who wrote this, not me, actually the one who believed that Agile is much, much better than planning. And this is like, there is so many evidence when it works, and so many people still do planning. And this is kind of interesting part because even if Agile works perfectly enough in iteration level or some really small scope or step, still planning is required. And we'll try to find why. Maybe people who actually, it's lots of different things. Depends on people who involved into this. Like if you find only people who believe in, let's say, Kanban, everyone, including customers, they won't bring plans here. Like they just simply think about any obstacles that you need to overcome and think beforehand, so they will start this work. But if there is some banking system or some countries that still have really strict hierarchy with planning and like budgets coming from, let's say, government or funding organizations, so they need to have plans, because this hierarchy forces us to think beforehand a lot, so that strategical decisions dominated over agile and tactical thinking. The cases. We do plan, I do plan when I need to schedule some tasks that requires me to wait a lot, right? So that's the reason is that once I ask someone to do something, then I need to wait. The sooner I ask them, the sooner they answer. So I need to find what the plan of this asking things. Then sometimes I need to prioritize things and think through who gonna do what in my team. Also, it's also kind of planning thing. Determine a sequence, like surely I need to do, because like some actions has to be taken before others. It's also kind of planning, surely. And the same thing when I need to deliver something one by one and have goals or objectives, let's say, something to deliver, something valuable. That's also when we need plan. And of course, some kind of migration things. This is a complex part when we change things, and we need to understand when we need to change it, on the best circumstances to change. And for that, we need to reserve some resources, right? It's also kind of the first thing that I do when I need to ask someone like, oh, we need to hire this person, or we need to hire at least bring here 2 people into our team if we want to achieve the goal. Of course, I want to have vacation one day. I'm kidding, I just have vacation. And I do not plan if I just have only one task to do. And the most funny one, who are not limited by anything, they also don't need to have a plan. Like, why just relax and do Kanban things, do it efficiently, and one day you just found that budget is over and you simply need to find another job. This is also fine. I saw so many people who has really big experience in doing agile Kanban things, and they are really convinced that they did the best things in their life. Sure, they do. Still, they have not faced real troubles with budgets and deadlines. So it brought me to the conclusion that actually planning is something that stays outside of Agile, because Agile itself is a mostly efficient way to deliver things. So outside of this tool set, yes, and Agile methodology is not like what really we do. It's like a common term, manifesto and principles, and there is so many implementation of Agile methodologies, and some of them actually do have their own tools for planning. Let's say, for example, Scalable Agile Framework, they believe that they have this all things, and other Agile implementation doesn't. So that's why not everyone need to have this, but still. So then we have this thing that we apply around. It is well-known triangle of project management, where we're working with the scope. We have a cost of this budget, or let's say resources team. And of course, we work with time, and all this stuff, even if it's already considered in your management process, in your planning, or let's say in your agile approach, still there is something to work beyond your process, if your tool set of management does allow you to do this way. Okay, and then we got these fancy pictures that say like they should convince you Agile the best things, because there are more black things in it. Maybe, I don't know, because they fix it and scope is not fixed. That's what we like. We want to deliver the best thing that we can, and we should don't try to think about money. It's manager like, and don't think about time. This is fix it, right? But it's a bit, it's just partially true, because like there is no border. Things change and change a lot, and it's our responsibility to walk through the changing the vision of the scope and time, and of course cost, not just like it's presented here. We're not talking about waterfall approach, of course. And to do this, I want to introduce the tool. The main part of the method is roadmap file. Roadmap here is a specific term, I would say. It differs from what like appears in your head when you're thinking about roadmap, because like I need some word, okay, to name it, and it differs from what you like expected. It's like when I say project roadmap, people think like what are you going to deliver one by one, how, and so on and so on. But this is kind of comprehensive thing, but not what I'm trying to do. It helps to create for you like some slides. It helps you to walk through project, but it doesn't like it is not a real project roadmap. Still, it is really close to that, so I name it this way. First of all, the project for the team, sure. And in ideal world, it was said so many times, cross-functional team is the best thing that we bring efficiency for you. There is Conway's law. There is a team topology thing that says that cross-functional team is the most effective one. So for us, there are so many people that do their work, and they like step by step bring some values into things we are doing, and they all work on some, let's say, product backlog items. Okay, even these guys are actually working on product backlog items. Even the last one do so many things and produces business value. It's at least other people think. They are not thinking this way because they're ceremony masters. Where is a person who works on a project roadmap or whatever? I think more or less it's product owners, right? So it's their responsibility. If it's their responsibility, actually others don't work on this. And this comes like to the idea what project roadmap should be, or product roadmap, of course. We need to think through it using some foundation, the basement of the planning. In the industry, actually, the most oldest methodology, even older than Agile itself or Kanban, is Lean software, Lean manufacturing that evolved to Lean software development. And there is these wastes. And if we walk through this waste, we find that some of them much more important if we're talking about making this artifact. We don't want to do some partial work. Of course, we don't need to introduce some extra things that doesn't bring any value right now. We don't want to do this handoffs, this file for us. For us, I mean like a product owner team or person. And we don't want to introduce something so to relearn it later. Should be so small and ready, not partially done, that actually brings this value that actually feasible. So this thing is small. If you are thinking about project roadmap yourself, like this is quite a big thing. That's where they become different words. So to answer this question, we just need to ask another one. What's left actually? All these people who was in this team doing things. So we bring work and try to implement and then deliver as fast as possible, like using the continuous integration approach, which come from extreme programming. One person said that if you throw, let's say, Scrum from the team and leave extreme programming, everything will be okay. If we throw away extreme programming and leave Scrum, it won't work. So continuous integration, like we take and we introduce it, and what's left? We don't want to work on the feature. We don't want to work on product backlog item. But what left? Maybe name left. We want to address something, right? We want to work on something. We know it. We can name it. We can work on, let's say, user profile. We want to like work on like I don't know, share my piece of anything with someone else. We want to change a password. We want to archive or let's say delete, or maybe we want to have security tests or certification. This is name. Of course, they will be grouped somehow because like otherwise it's not organized anyhow. Maybe there will be priority. If you want to have me elaborate difference between blocker and must, just please raise hand or ask question in the end. This is most part of the, I always elaborate a lot. Then maybe status. Why not? Like because it's done or not done, or it's like unclear, or in like in BA, whatever. Maybe you need this one. Required resources, because like every piece of work require people or anything else. We need to mark it somehow because we're gonna estimate it, maybe even plan what team is required for this project to be done. Some people like links here. I don't know, to Jira, to Confluence, to any other tracker place where you store your, I don't know, specifications. I don't like links here myself, as other people do. And of course, comment. And the comment is something different than name because like comment is context and name is something that like the quickest way to identify what we're talking about. Nothing else, I would say, because even if you will bring more things here, it just simply do job of other people. I would say like describe who is responsible, who is the sponsor, what is, I don't know, anything else. Maybe you can propose what we can add here and why it should be or why it shouldn't. So it's actually really close to the other parties. Some of you who knows me know how I love Gantt chart. That's why I want to compare with the roadmap file. And they're, even if they're really close, according to definition, they're simply different because Gantt chart is a formal and comprehensive tool for you to manage your team. And the only one, while the roadmap is designed to be lightweight, narrow purpose, and be attachment, effective attachment to any management process you have. Like you may have a waterfall approach, but still roadmap file will help you to track all your activities, while Gantt chart cannot be replaced. So because it's like have lots of connections, you may like plan people, whatever. And if like you wanted to manage team 15 years ago, you should know Gantt chart and know tools how to like use them, like MS project, whatever. And the other part which is mostly confuses people is like a scope vision and roadmap itself. So they both contain mostly the same thing, but while the scope vision is about knowledge and it's organized around knowledge and knowledge connection. So to you to understand what we're talking about, right? So the text, maybe it's hypertext when you just navigate through things. This is about like what we see, like what has to be done. While the roadmap is about engineering practices. Why? Because like if there was no engineering practices in our world, you won't see Lego instructions. Lego instructions doesn't provide you building how you see it. It provides you the way how it actually can be done. And the way it can be done, not always obvious. That's why we need roadmap, because it's for engineers to be done how and when. Still, they are connected. How? First of all, we have scope vision, like something that you write down, drew, or discuss in workshop, something like that. Then you need to transmit it to some form that you can work. The simplest form that doesn't have like descriptions, pictures, I don't know, responsible person, maybe dates for now, right? And then it's transformed to task management. There is a Kanban, Scrum board, whatever that your team works. So it helps you from the scope vision to task management, and you may wonder where requirements are, or maybe not. Then we will touch this point later. So the guideline, the roadmap file. So it is flat list. First of all, it's flat, no tree, because if you want to work with lines and rows and you want to like order them in any way and organize for your team to like work on it, tree doesn't help. Tree just simply restricts you from moving things, and it's really close to Gantt chart when you see like 15 different steps that are connected together in different places. So this Gantt chart, you just need to scroll over and up and down, try to find how they're connected. No, it's for people, so you don't bring any hierarchy here. Eventually consistent. So since it's not the only tool for you to manage the team, it is not Jira board. It may be not consistent with Jira, but you need to work on this and try to synchronize it from time to time, because like it is not automated yet. I don't know when it will be. When I have someone invested in that, maybe I will introduce it. Now I'm using Google spreadsheet and Office, MS Office, and like it works well. Why not? Then priority command status. Why not? I strongly recommend not to try bring really long names, like put everything into comment. Just name it like you understand what it means. And the place for effort estimation is really crucial, because nobody else in your team except product owner or maybe project manager will estimate and manage resources. So this is the place where you can actually calculate how many people or something else you need. And no multi-line, please, never, because our brain works this way. If the line is bigger, you think it's more important. And you know, the smallest and more clear task has this big context to implement, you know, because you know everything. And the most vague thing, like we need reports. Who has the situation like somebody else came to the meeting and say, you know, we need reporting module. I have so many in projects. They say, well, you know, we need reporting. How many reports you need? 20, 25, 30? We don't know. Like all the system has these reports. No, there's other guys not here who knows about reports, and you'll say, okay, I will put reports here, and it's one line. Nothing's clear. But then we have, okay, we need this, you know, when you like log out, it needs to ask you that if you really want to log out, and then you just put this comment somebody else said to you. No, just make it simple, no multi-line. So this is example, really old one, 2 years from now, a bit less. But anyway, we use this file through all the project, and it's ended with like 36th sprint. So it was a really long one. Even Google spreadsheet had some issues with so big file. Try to make these squares act weirdly. Anyway, you see here some E means like grouping. People then confuse this. I replaced it with G. E here is epic. G may be group. So don't make this mistake as me. It's not an epic, and people will confuse it every time. And then feature, then they have specification links. Yep, people like numbers. I like more names. And we have comments and clean confirmation, like blah 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 blah. This line comes a really long one. I have some estimation here in total and capacity, blah blah blah. So it goes down. So many people will work on this thing, so they will see what we are going to work on, and so on and so on, and the status, of course. But this thing is quite big one, and we are talking about this row and still have no clue what it is. It is a feature. Again, another term. This is not feature like this is not a bug. This is feature. No, not this. This is not feature from Agile. or Scrum. No way. This is a specific term that I use here because people want to say every time specification, product backlog item, story, task, lots of other things. I don't want to mess with them because they are much widely used than feature or epic, let's say. Theme, okay. Then the feature is identifiable. This is most critical one, so you need to understand what we are talking about. And another thing is addressed. It might be addressed, should be addressed, this thing. So the feature shouldn't be implemented. Feature should be addressed. Because like, if I want to have a security test won't be implemented. So security test has to be passed. And we need to produce artifact for that, let's say. And we need to call and find the company that will do this, right? Some of the things are actually formulated as a problem. How you can implement problem. You need to find a solution for that, so you need to address. It differs from the task or product backlog item, maybe not, because some of the product backlog items in Agile actually acts like features, and they should be, but so many times you face the project and you say, like, I'm really cool guy in Scrum, Agile, and I come to the project and say, story is informal problem you need to solve, period. And then they say, okay, it's informal, but we have this list of requirements how the story should look like. First of all, it's acceptance criteria. Every translation should be here. Like you need to have, I don't know, screens to pass. I don't know, lots of other things. Yep, connected. And then say, no, this is not like that. Okay, so feature is more close to a problem to solve or address. That differs from requirement. Requirement is clear thing, right? While feature is 100% clear, not clear, but it has priority and claim resources. Requirements doesn't claim resources. Okay, maybe it's traceable because it leads us to, I don't know, stakeholders. Some of you who worked as a BA found saw BA artifacts. Sometimes they place stakeholders who actually sponsor this feature or this requirement, right? But requirements is about knowledge again, right? It tends to be like that. So there is a screen, and everything that the screen does is on one piece because you want to see the full picture what this screen does. But let's say if we're talking, I don't know, I bring my example from e-learning platform. One day you have all these courses, people involved, so they do all this stuff, and then you, okay, I want to have rating and feedbacks. Rating come when you finish, then you can filter things, then you can review them, maybe you need to moderate them. It goes all over the places, so it comes like an epic or theme, to be correct, right? But it is everywhere. It won't be ever put in one requirement. Most of business analysts tend to put like ratings in the overview into one screen, feedback screen another place, moderation for the, I don't know, some person who has this, and so on and so on. Maybe they will connect it, but you won't ever have this vision on that. So this is about that. And the feature will be, I want to have a rating system here without any description. So requirements should be this way. Other way it doesn't work. If you read BA books, they say this, and they're right. So, but like when it appears, and appears like before we do something, just an idea, because we have lots of ideas when we start projects, and we want to put it somewhere and track them. So we bring these features here, and we did nothing about them, just that. That's why it's not for team. Yeah. People who knows about Scrum Guide will say product owner is a part of the team. Here it is not. It's like separated. There is a wall. You don't see it. I'm kidding. So they're working with the roadmap, and team working in Agile process. They have tasks, and they consume this product backlog item coming from product owner. But product owner is not a magician. They need something to work with, right? So the project or product roadmap is something for you to understand, okay, we have this one, we need to produce this. If you think that product owner is a superhero here, you are right. And the time when product owners was superheroes is no longer here, so it passed away. And now to match skill set of product owner that was originally introduced in Scrum, you need a product owner team. Because product owner, in the best cases, they simply translate your priorities from 100 plus people, that's stakeholders that come to you and think nothing. They do not think about the next thing that you need to introduce, because the other way, they has to have the power to say, no, we do not translate your priorities. I decide what to do. Like the product owner is a person with vision, right? But most of the time nowadays, when we scale out IT industry, product owner become people who actually do their piece of work that cannot be done by other people, right? So they have responsibility for the priorities and responsibility for the vision, but they maybe not have enough skills to do that. So that's why we need at least UI UX designer for them, because they form lots of solutions for your project and then bring vision how it has to be done. Most of the time, I saw so many times when product owner works close with UI UX designer, they actually bring something like how it should look like. And then me or other solution architect come and say, we cannot do this. That's why this person simply may be part of the product owner team, and they work together and say, okay, this is like features you have, and then we need to form the next thing that team can work on. It brings us to the interesting confusion part. As I said, like requirement specification is not features, but product backlog items either not a feature. Why is that? I saw many people confusing this part as well. That's okay. That's fine. The reason is that product backlog item is something to work on, right? So it's about engineering. If you say, let's say, I really like this thing when we start the project and the first epic, always, why it's epic, I don't know. Epic about login. And you cannot start doing login because you have no infrastructure at all. How can you log in if you have no creation of the user? You cannot create user before you have a admin console, let's say, or something like that, right? So we need to limit this feature, and they say, okay, you have not finished first story for 3 months because it's not doable. And because it's not a story, it's specification that describes the screen. Okay, but we may try to extract some part of this specification like this one, or maybe a bit more, because like we need to introduce this infrastructure, right? And try to bring it. That's why product backlog item differs from specification. And moreover, product backlog item is immutable thing. Once you bring it to the team, it shouldn't change, because this is step when you need to test after all. But specification should change, because like it's agile. It's about knowledge, and you cannot have knowledge separated into stories and like spread all over your product backlog, and you try to like connect all this stuff to understand how it works and why it should work this way. While feature is something like really vague. But if you do this way, there is a risk, and there is a fear from the customer, and they don't like it, because like if we do this part, what's about this one? We simply forget about this? How we manage this? Actually, nothing special. It's like a remnants that left after you done something. And this is just another features, actually, most of the features that should become multi-line if you forget about this. So we are working on product backlog item, and these parts should be somehow checked, and they're checked as a remnants in the roadmap file again. And you won't forget about this. Most of the time, you even should be motivated to cut the feature, because otherwise you imply that everything in this feature, or even specification, has the same priority, which is not true most of the time, because like you describe whole screen like the final vision, but the most priority valuable thing right now is just part of this. and you may skip the other part for later, and they say, okay, we cannot skip because we will forget. No, you won't. Now you won't, if you track it and put down. And then it's the static part, but let's talk about lifecycle and progress. Lifecycle is something that nothing comes without monsters of the past. And like the human, this project, every project starts on the 4 legs because we are so slow and stupid and have so many energy and understand nothing, but have lots of ideas coming out to our mind. And in the end, we need crunches because otherwise it won't be delivered. And maybe pills. And we need to bring this project as fast as possible to the better life, another world. It won't suffer anymore. So we start with opening, something that in the beginning, and it has its own specificities, some kind of things that we need to consider. Then, of course, it's mid-game and end game. Yeah, why not? I use chess terms to not mix with anything else rather than roadmap and features. So these phases is describe you how you can use or should use roadmap and what you have to do. As I said, in the beginning, you can change scope and you can change deadline. Why you can? Because it is much cheaper to change it right now. Later, it will be more expensive. They will change. It always come like that. So the people say, okay, we won't deliver this day. Okay, actually, they already have this contingency for like the month, so you can move it later. So they will move it later, but it costs much more than you say right now. We cannot deliver this day. This is in the beginning. And about cost, of course, because like in the beginning, you have no team. You need to understand how many people you need to hire, or maybe combination of these people or balance. This is where you need to decide. And you can, and lots of energy, everybody trusts each other. So many ideas, some of them are good, some of them are bad. This is what anchors us, because people cannot focus on something we need to deliver. There is no vision, and there is no time because we need to start as soon as possible. And not so many people actually who understand how it has to be done right now. Maybe in the beginning, maybe only few of people like experts that come to estimate the project and say how it should be done. Then they left and real team come, and it's like totally different. And the guideline for the opening is that's the crucial part. We need to brainstorm to have outline scope vision. It should include everything, even out of scope things, because you need to put like a joke for Jews who live on the island solely. They will build 2 temples, one to come to and another not to come anyhow. Anyway, so you put outside it because you like deliberately decide you won't do this. But to do this, you need to first have these items here. Then you prepare a flat map, a flat list for roadmap. It's I won't say you how to transform mind map into a flat list. Just have your imagination. Maybe you need to combine some parts to have this list not so huge as a scope vision, because like you don't need, if you have the scope vision, right? You don't need to have your roadmap as the source of knowledge. You may combine things. Then you need to identify critical chains. For God's sake, don't do dependencies in roadmap. Otherwise, you will have Gantt chart. And you won't work with it because it always changes. And tracking dependencies in table is quite a hard thing. Then you need to estimate roughly. That's who participated in discovery phase or pre-sale. You did it. Like you need to walk through these things and try to roughly estimate, even if you don't understand the scope, but you simply put something. Why you need it? Because this is the right time to you to understand who's gonna work on that. And if you see like somebody says, okay, we have like, I see that like 4 people for mobile part and 2 people for backend matches our expectation. Then you see like you have really simple application and lots of integration in the backend and reports and other stuff. So there will be so many backend guys who are working on that. And how you will deliver that? There is no way to do this. And you see, like, you need automated test for test that. And they say, no, there is so fancy UI. And this is why you need to do this. And for sure, this is something that helps you to evaluate deadline, of course, because like the size of the team matters. And once you did it several times, you need to play with the team composition to answer when it can be delivered with which scope. To do that, I bring here the slide from the other presentation just for you to like catch up. I use this formula a lot. It differs from story points or whatsoever. This is ideal man days, which means that time you work on something that is planned. Really work, not talking, not bug fixing, maintenance, no technical design, no other stuff. You just simply understand what you need to do, and you do it. This is ideal man hours. So first of all, work spare iteration, then non-meeting rates, then planned work rate. So there is part for not planned work, and qualification, of course, because different people has different qualification. That's okay, and this is the crucial part when you start doing things. Of course, you need to have a total of that. So this is your team capacity. But we need to do reverse engineering when we're doing team evaluation, because you do not have people, you don't have qualification, right? Some other parts you have, right? You may think about some rates. And that's what we do. First of all, when you have a scope and you have estimations, then you can have a total expected required resources per resource type. You may do this sum. You may add some risks here. You may add some communication, because like if you have lots of integration, you may add additional communication to your backend team. Or if you have lots of fancy things or not clear UI UX, maybe you may additionally have for your front-end part. Then you need to like start your play game when you decide the number of iteration. Then you divide it, so you have the expected iteration required resources. Then you set your default values. In real world, non-meeting rate and planned work rate differs from one person to another, because team lead spends more time on meetings, of course, right? And like juniors mostly do their job, and some juniors actually do only job, but not fixing their bugs, because bugs they introduce much more complex that they can solve sometimes. So it's mostly solved by middles or maybe even seniors. So in real world, these rates are different, but in case when you need to evaluate your team, you may set one value rate, and another rate for planned work rate. Then you may calculate the expected qualification. So that's where you have this figure. It's not measured anyhow. I don't know what it means actually. 1.5 person. Then evaluate qualification for seniors, middles, and juniors. I have these numbers from like my experience when I measured one of my team. We checked properly working time and and made really good estimations. Then I divide them and see like seniors is kind of 1, because we estimated against seniors because they're 1. That's why they are 1. And middle, something like that, and seniors like that. So 30% of senior is middle. Some of them is much less. Okay, and if you want the senior plus people who is more than seniors, they maybe come to like 1.5 or even 2.0. They're really fast, but most of these people actually spending time talking. Maybe that's why they are so efficient, because like they're so motivated to write something. And then play with team composition, because like once you have these numbers, you may say, okay, this 3 means 3 seniors. Oh, no, I have no 3 seniors. Maybe I have 1 seniors and 3 middles. it matches. Okay, that's fine. Then you play with this and bring the value for your, I don't know, someone, sponsor, stakeholder who decide what the team is. I have this funny example of trying to squeeze 20 months development into 7 months, considering that there should be security tests. The stuff that actually doesn't change how many people you have. Actually, it always depends on the scope. And the total developers of 22 people is too much for the one team. This is how I calculate it. So I have this working days, this non-meeting grade, so 70%, it's okay. For, let's say, legacy project, it may be even 0.5, because you need to spend so many time on maintenance, support, whatever. And then I have this required resources and expected qualification. Okay, so then have these people here. Try to balance them, because you cannot hire 8 seniors. They will fight every day because everyone is too senior to be dominated by someone else. And there's match rate, and I try to understand how many BAs we need for that. 34 people is too much, and it's drops dramatically when you just simply want 1 month later, more and more and more. It's become infeasible. And you maybe even decide this time that 34 is okay, but for 3 teams, maybe 2, and 2 or 3 teams is about to have distributed monolith, modular monolith, or even microservice approach that actually brings much more cost to your project. Just because you want to have it faster, you need to pay for that. That's where you can discuss this. And it's crucial for architect, let's say, to understand if it's microservice or monolith. That's how people actually drive this. In mid-game, vice versa, this is what we are all taught. We need to establish process and do it the best way we have. This is about Agile and Agile methodologies, and you can change team, but not too much. For sure, you can hire more people if you see that it's feasible. Sometimes you build your team starting from the core part and then add more people if you see it feasible. Maybe some people left when project come closer to the end, or maybe you want to let's say add more and more manual QA engineers. It's also a really common, let's say, phenomena when in the beginning there is not so much to test, and then it's become more and more. Then you may add more QA engineers later. But still, there is no vision. And this is actually why we need Agile, because scope is not finalized. We don't understand what we bring to the end. We understand what we deliver every sprint, but what we deliver every sprint is bringing value with this sprint, but it is not maybe feasible as a final solution. And everyone dies these days. This project cannot be delivered. That's why we have MVP. Because less than MVP, nothing matters. That's actually about blockers. In MVP, blockers come. If there is a blocker that doesn't come to MVP, it is not blocker. Blocker is something that multiplies your value by 0. If you want to implement. Must is actually what brings your crucial benefit. And if you won't deliver it, you simply maybe lose, but it doesn't multiply everything by 0. Mid-game guidelines. So you need to drive UI, UX, and BA. They will be disturbed a lot with ideas coming from product owner or stakeholders. And you need to focus them on the things that come next. Otherwise, there will be a gap between people when it's designed and when engineers take this work. Maybe some things change, or, which is more often, BA and UI UX need to learn what they actually did there. And they need to remember what they did. And sometimes it doesn't match newer vision. So that's why you need to drive them and focus. Ensure right pace of critical changes of things you need to implement. So if you see that you're not actually implementing them in right pace, that's actually a red flag for you. Maybe you need to change something. it always become like more obvious in mid-game, because like you see like there is different epics depending on each other, and you just simply forgot to continue doing this chain. So you won't finish in time anyhow, because you need to do it one by one. What about this? What's critical chain is. Then define iteration goals. Sure, you need to do this because they need to have a vision, and track remnants, as I said. Then focus on improving process. This like from Kanban, from AAA level of maturity of project management. You need to optimize your process every time. So this is time for you to work in Agile, and your product roadmap helps you to drive UI UX focus and check if the critical chain is in the right pace. So you may also form some iteration things. So you may place items in the grouped into iteration sprint, so it become more like understood by team. Yeah, because if you combine from meaningless items, it doesn't bring like motivation for the person, and people tend to simplify things. So make the goal simple. End game. The most funny part, the most often when I join the project in the end, and they say we are failing deadline. So okay, this is right time for you to make a roadmap, and so end game roadmap is the most hard one for customers. But still, now the scope is clear. What differs end game from mid game is actually we understand everything, or we prepared the vision for what we actually want to do. Or they simply now it's visible. Now we need to deliver these things because like budget is we're running out of budget, we're running out of time. This piece of features can be finalized in like 2 months or something. Then you say, okay, we can drop everything else. Now, if you're ready for that, if you see like you see in the end, then you're in end game. And priorities is clear for sure because of that. And anchors is about no time, no change in deadline, no cost change, and you cannot simply drop your quality level. We would like to sometimes, or maybe we can say, okay, but we did so many wrong things now. Now we should simply stop doing our scope and improve our quality. No, it doesn't work here. You're already lost if you haven't improved this. Because this is about processes and it's about mid-game. And the guideline is like you need to complete all original features you want to, or make decision to cut them. The part of them, then other come to remnants, and you may consider all remnants that left because you simply cut them, and then you need to take them because some of them actually as critical as other features are now in the end, and maybe you even want to sacrifice some original features because you need to implement these remnants. This is the right time for you to do this, because most of the time remnants doesn't, nothing else depends on remnants. Otherwise, it's actually should be implemented much earlier because of critical changes, as I said. You need to check them. Maybe conduct some reprioritization, because now have this vision, all this stuff on your plate, and then do the hardest thing is reducing the scope and define a deadline goal. How it works? It works this way. The customers hate this, but they have no choice. They literally have no choice but consider their goal and resources they have. That's where you see now, only at this moment of time, that triangle for Agile works. Because you cannot change cost, it's fixed. You cannot change quality, you cannot change time, but you can change scope. This is what drives customers to change what they actually claim has to be done before. Tips and tricks, parts that haven't fit to the previous chapters. First of all, I brought here from the previous presentation this fancy chart with epics grouped together with dependencies. I made it once for discovery phase to convince customer do not start with user creation, at least because there is a critical chain starting from here that drives us through all the process and ended somewhere here, maybe even here. And to finish in time, we need to do this one first. Even more like creating user, maybe, or I don't know, user card, or even user menu, something, or even authentication, actually. It can be postponed. Still, we can do it every time, let's say. So once I have this dependency, this is not part of roadmap, because like this arrows is arrows, yep, and there is no arrows in table, unless it's Gantt chart table. And then I just spend some time do it for you, like to try to make it sequentially. And now you see like there is so many things, like 5 of them, that won't be ever implemented in 3-4 months, because like they're really long one, everything. And let's say I put audit and notification support here, and like create user somewhere behind all the stuff. Other part that differs mid-game, we can actually do some opening activities during mid-game. First of all, we may reconsider scope or try to refine what we have in our roadmap. It can be done like in 3-4 iteration. And the hardest part here is bring your experts, like leads, together and say, okay, guys, we need to do this exercise once more. Let's walk through the roadmap and actualize our estimations, because now you understand much more. So let's see how it changes, and then say, okay, you see dramatically change, and you come to your customer and say, we did this exercise with our team, and we won't be able to deliver this. How come? Okay, because there was the snapshot of the roadmap I sent you in the beginning, and this is the new one, and this is difference. And people who did this estimation can say you line by line how it differs and why. It's traceable now. So that's how it can be done. But never do this on iteration basis. It's really costly. Like you may spend 2-3 hours with your leads, and leads are most expensive person in your team. Then in-game activities like cutting the scope, this is really hard to convince customer to do this, because they don't see the end. They say, oh, okay, no, you will do this. Why not? There is so much time, and like you may sacrifice something, like, or do it better, or maybe with less quality. But if what you can do, actually, to cut the scope of the feature. As I said, you might say that it doesn't apply everything in this feature is equally important. Maybe we need to postpone something. And most of the time, that's why you see ugly application in your app store, because they simply sacrifice some parts. Why not? Then later you may introduce them. That's why in modern game industry, they have roadmap when they release something, because they need to fix this part, the remnants that left. Solution for cases. Schedule task. Yep, I would say this is not more or less as a planning, but estimation when you need to answer question, when you need to start this work to be finished in time. It's something different. But I plan to start doing this one day. So, like, for example, that's where actually Gantt chart helps you. Because like if you have dependencies of things that has to be done after you've done everything that's outside continuous integration, and I can name them, so you need to consider this part and maybe understand, okay, this is deadline, and we need to start doing performance testing, security testing, usability testing at this moment of time, because we need to have after, I don't know, certification, UAT, green-blue deployment or canary deployment with some friends and family delivery, then you need to have this deadline. That's how it works. Plan, or you shouldn't plan. Never. Just simply use your Kanban board or Scrum board for team to decide. Like if you see that the team lead is planning who should do what, then it's really bad. Team is not self-organized. You need to just prioritize things from the top to the bottom and say, oh, every time your junior come to you, what should I do next? You have a backlog. Take the first one. Oh, I don't know how to do this. Please take it and ask people. They will like help you. Be like self-efficient. Don't make me a bottleneck. Determine sequence of dependent activities. That's where critical change come. It's not a planning itself, but this is essential part of it. You may draw them and to understand how it works. So to pick it one by one in sequence to implement. Schedule product releases and their goals. This was like the most interesting part when I plan things. This is more like how you understand market, how you understand product architecture. And this is like when you globally think that this should come first and this next and that, so on. This is also about dependencies or maybe resources, because like who gonna consume it? And you need resources like when, for example, one project with in healthcare, they have 3 different types of hospitals gonna use the application. Like the small, the one like hospital, then the network of hospitals, and government hospital, the big one. And they require different application, like different features, right? And like we decided what should go first and what who we need to bring into marketing process and what customers we need to have and what the features they need. Describe migration activities. Sure, this is crucial thing. It's like this is when you want to come from A to B. This is about sequence things of you need to do. Like you need to pass through them. That's why you need to plan. And sometimes migration means that you need to have a fallback and someone to test. So this is also about maybe more like a Gantt chart, not for the product file I introduced here. And critical resources, as I said, have a file, estimate, and then you may claim the resources you need. Otherwise, it's like you may say you brought me 3 people and said that they will be 3 seniors, but 1 senior is 2 juniors. This is the result, the consequences of this decision. Like deadline we will miss deadline. Then we need to reduce the scope, something like that. And it would be me if I won't bring the all topics I have. We have the product roadmap here. I prepared already and have, you may find this on YouTube for estimation and technical debt management. But there is another 2 things that actually exist in my pool already done. So I will be really glad to present it to you. And there are more things that I have in my mind that actually can be prepared as well. So you may like try to listen. And so if you have any ideas that you like me to talk to you about these things, then just simply come here and bring your feedback and say, this person like said that he can tell me about this one. I would like to listen. So again, thank you. And this is for you. I suppose there should be questions at least from you, or maybe it will be online questions.
And the first one is, how can project teams improve their ability to accurately estimate timelines and deliverables?
For me, it was it is based on logging your work properly. And first of all, you shouldn't fear to fail this like your estimation. And then you can compare and learn. We are actually work the same way as artificial neural network works right now. So we can simply compare a few fails and we understand why. And then say, okay, we failed this estimation because of technical debt, because of the requirements was not clear. And there will be like jar hell in the library we took, or maybe lots of things, bugs come to the sprint. So you need to log it properly and understand that's like retrospectively what you did wrong and accept it. It's okay to fail. You won't learn it until you properly estimate. The trouble here is that story point estimation works only when you have informal story looking like a problem. So you need to solve it. Yep. But it means like it starts from the problem, and then you need to design it, and you need to introduce the solution and the most fastest solution. And with small requirements, actually, it's decided by team, not product owner. Like UI UX designer or front-end engineers is a part of a team who decide how the problem should be solved. But nowadays, stories has acceptance criteria and requirements, and they're so strict. So you cannot simply deliver this story without this. Then you need to carefully read it and understand what it means. It brings me to this particular technical design things that the phase I introduced just to eliminate this gap between like when you, as a product owner, business analyst, bring the knowledge to the team, what you need to do. Before you groom it, you need to understand and read it. Like that's what technical design is. So you understand what you need to do, and then learn from your mistakes. Then you learn how to do this. And if you use story points, please use it properly. It works this way. Otherwise, you will simply convert story points to ideal man hours.
Okay, and one more question. What are the most common pitfalls you've seen in project planning, and how can they be avoided?
One is we doesn't track remnants. The second is not proper dependencies. So when simply force it to start an epic or story that it depends on other thing, and you simply wait forever until your other thing is done. So it's kind of a deadlock. You cannot start the next story until you did it, but you cannot finish it before you start that one. So you need to communicate a lot. And if you have such situation, it means that there is the communication with the customer is already failed most of the time. So to do this, actually, the file helps. So it should be shared with the customer so they see it is transparent what we're gonna do. Why I said share it? Because customer is actually part of product owner team. So they simply work with you on them.
And the last one, could you please show one more time the slide with Excel spreadsheet with t-shirt size from the beginning of your presentation?
I do not have this, the t-shirt. I have it in the other presentation actually for estimations. But I try to find this one. Here is not a t-shirt. This M must, S should, W is won't, and what else? C for good. I used red, light red with exclamation mark for blockers in this file. This is ideal man hours. Yeah. Okay, offline questions, please. Any slide you want to show you and explain?
How possible persuade the customer to cover the scope?
Be honest. First of all, honesty is your weapon. The second is logic. I haven't seen anyone who cannot be convinced with numbers. Otherwise, like you should change the project if they are not convinced with numbers. Like people tend to believe in numbers, you know. They thought that mathematics is God because it has so big power over us. To be practically, you need to show this table or something close to that, right? With estimation. And if they don't like estimation, you need to work exactly with this estimation. They will bring these people. You will bring who's did this estimation and say, okay, let's contest. We need to trust each other. And if they're not convinced, it might be the same. It might be like that. So you will say, okay, you worked with us. We brought this estimation and we delivered as we said. Like you see, like through all sprints. If they see this is argument for you to say our estimation is right, and you may trust it. In the beginning, there is no trust, of course, but they believe we are good specialists. So that's why you need to establish your process as soon as possible and improve your estimation as soon as possible and deliver things that you claim to deliver as you do. And a lesson learned. So you say we haven't delivered because we failed because let's say it was not clear from the customer, or you changed requirements, which is actually okay to change requirements because Agile is about accepting the changes. Then you change things and say, okay, it works this way because of that. So honesty and transparency bring trust, and they should trust your numbers. They bring, okay, this is rule. They bring priorities, you bring estimation. This is different responsibilities. You never say what you should do to customer, they bring priorities. You bring estimation, and then you negotiate. If they want to help you to estimate, please, they can come. They can join the team and take responsibility for that and say, okay, it has to be done faster. Okay, please teach us and say what the special techniques maybe in your customer, like you in other team have some specific solution for that. And sometimes they really have. And they share it and say, okay, this is already done. This is library, I would say, this is common approach we have. And it becomes faster. Or they can say, okay, I see it's much more complex than I thought. Anyone else? Any questions? I think this is it then. Again, thank you. This is in the end. This is just some summary for you for 3 phases or what you can do. This is it. Thank you. And I suppose pizza is coming, right? Right. Okay. Okay. Great. Is there the way how can I end the live? Maybe not me. Я сейчас это... Все, закончил.